When you got nothing better to do, it's time to get hanging with the hers.
Hey guys, okay, so I thought I would do a video response to I think it's an older video. I'm not sure when she posted it, but Courtney Pants did a vlog about her eating disorder. So I thought I would do a video response for anyone who's had an eating disorder or has an eating disorder or any kind of an addiction. It's really difficult to talk about it and to be honest, being honest about it, and also being like just talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's difficult. It's not easy when you've lived with something for a long time. So as I've mentioned in some of the other videos, I've had an eating disorder. I guess technically I still have an eating disorder. A lot of people look at me at my weight and they say, oh well, you must have gotten over your eating disorder. I've been told that in the past. You must have gotten over it, blah 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 blah. It's bullshit, because the mind, it's not easy to heal from stuff. In fact, first 7 years of my life, Courtney talks about being born with this. Maybe I was born with it too. My mum had an eating disorder when she was younger, and I remember her, when I was going through mine, her telling me about things that she used to do to kind of hide the fact. So I don't know if it's a matter of something of predisposition. I know Courtney's mum had an eating disorder. My mum, you know, thankfully is still with us, and she doesn't have an eating disorder now, but it was something that she struggled with, and she struggled with her weight her entire life as well. I don't know if it's something that is genetic, if it's something that we can pass on to our kids, if it's a learned behavior or what, but I know that for myself, for the first 7 years of my life, I basically didn't really eat. My mum used to have me every Saturday morning at the doctor's office because I wouldn't, you know, he would tell her, look, you know, when she's hungry, she's going to eat. Every Saturday, I was back at the doctor's office because I wouldn't eat. Then when I was 7, my mum took me to a convention for a multi-level marketing company that she was a part of. I'm not going to say the name. They had children's vitamins, and a friend of mine and myself and we went to this one table that they had children's vitamins, and they had like a little bowl. It was like a little sample bowl people try, but we kept on going back and eating these candies, as we would call them, but they're really multivitamins. And so we must have each of us a bottle of these multivitamins each. Well, that night I went home and I had 2 helpings, full helpings of dinner, something I had never in my entire life up until that point ever done. My mum was shocked, my dad was shocked, my sister was shocked. They were all thrilled because finally they thought I had found my appetite. After that, I started eating, and I was really healthy. Like I was eating healthily. I didn't worry about food. I didn't use it as a control thing. I hadn't done so. Whether it was actually an eating disorder when I was little, I don't know. For about a year, I was, you know, doing great. I was eating healthy. My parents didn't have any problems with getting me to eat anything. Started putting on weight, and I got a little pudgy, you know, as you know, little children do, baby fat, whatever you want to call it. Well, after a year, my mum started getting worried, and so she started taking me to the doctor every Saturday again, because now I wouldn't stop eating. And the doctor said, look, you know, it's baby fat, she'll grow out of it, everything will be fine. Well, my mum didn't agree with him necessarily, and started putting me on diets and starting to teach me to restrict myself. Her favorite comment to me was, you know, Leyla, today on the lips, forever on the hips. And that was something that was always in the back of my mind, constantly. When I was 14, I began to restrict myself, and I started to stop eating. I wouldn't eat. During the day at school, maybe I would have, you know, maybe a couple of gummy bears or something like that, which I'd have in my pocket. And I was always larger than the other kids, and of course they all called me fat, and I endured quite a bit of bullying as far as my weight went. But now that I look at pictures of myself, I see I was just healthy. I wasn't fat as it was. I was, you know, I was a little bit on the heavier side from the other girls were, who were, you know, stick skinny. So I wasn't really, as far as I could see now, looking back at photos, you know, I wasn't unhealthy, but yet when I saw myself as being a 10-ton Tessie. And that's when my issues with where I would look at myself and I couldn't tell what my size was, because I would see myself in the mirror and I was huge compared to what I really was. A few of the teachers were not the nicest. One in particular, my biology teacher, he was a dick, basically. I remember one afternoon, I hadn't eaten anything the whole day, and I was starting to feel, you know, it would make me feel high when I was so hungry. It would make me feel high, but then I would like get to this point where I'd get to this threshold, and if I crossed the threshold, then I would start feeling like I was going to pass out. Then I would pop a gummy bear, maybe one of those small little Snickers bars. You get them like at Hello. They had just started coming into Hong Kong, so small little Snickers, and maybe I'd have one of those. I remember one afternoon, there was a experiment that we were doing for biology, and we had to go to the roof, which was basically the way the school was set up. We had all the levels going up, because this is in Hong Kong, so we didn't have like flat schools like you have in America. We would have levels, so we'd have to go upstairs. So we'd have like the floors, and then there was a roof, like a flat roof, which, you know, you could say like a roof garden or something, but we could, you know, we would use that for sports or whatever, and, you know, play up there at break time and stuff. But right opposite, there was one building here, and then there was another building here, and it was connected by like a corridor, which was an open corridor. It was all over. The lab sciences were on this side, on the roof. So we had an experiment. I was getting to that point where I was crossing that threshold, so I took a gummy bear, and I had a gummy bear, and the teacher saw me, and he bellowed. Now, because of the way the school was designed, if you yelled, and it was like, there was no kids playing out in the playground or anything, but so it was quiet, everyone was in class, and if you were on the top, on the roof, and you bellowed in the booming voice that he did, it would basically echo throughout the courtyard below and through all the classrooms, so everyone could hear it. He yelled, "Leyla, you great big fat turkey, no wonder you're so fat." Everyone in the classes heard, and of course everyone in my classroom heard it, and everyone in the other class. And I remember another experiment I can't remember what the experiment was, but we couldn't use our hands or legs, and we had to lay on top of the lab table. He yelled at me in front of the whole, told me how much I looked like a big fat beach whale. Fast forwarding back to the time when he called me the great big turkey. My last class of the day, and by the time I got on the school bus, everyone was talking about it, and everyone was making fun of me, calling me a great big fat turkey. Even the teachers thought I was a great big fat turkey, blah 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 blah. I went home that night and I didn't eat dinner, and that was the first time that I actually stopped eating dinner. My parents at first didn't really say anything. Then after a while they took me to the doctor. The official diagnosis was anorexia bulimia nervosa. I went with that for a while, and I lost some weight, but then I don't know if I just grew out of it or what exactly happened. I thought I had cured myself, as Courtney had said in her video, which was kind of ironic, because I was just like, oh my gosh, she's echoing my words, which I've been saying for years. When I was 16, I moved to Australia to finish my last 2 years of high school. The first year I was pretty happy. I didn't worry so much about food or my weight or anything, although my grandparents the year before, I'd gone for summer holidays there. My grandmother had me, they'd put me on a diet, and I'd lost a lot of weight. Then by the time I got back to Australia, I'd put on all the weight, and my grandmother used to measure how much weight I had by giving me a hug and seeing if she could meet her hands in the back behind me. It was always a huge theme in my family about weight and weight loss and being slim, because that was seen as beautiful, and when you were fat you weren't beautiful. And so while they would tell me I was beautiful on one sentence, they were indicating to me that I wasn't in another. So I had this really bad complex. My second year, during that summer holidays, which was in December through February in Australia. I know it's kind of weird, but that's because the seasons are back to front. Summertime is in December there. I'd lost a lot of weight and got back to school, and I was really slim. Well, that kind of triggered me, and I had a girlfriend who was my best friend, and she told me about how she used to wear several pairs of jeans and with a doctor and say that she needed to lose weight, and based on how she looked, she got diet pills. So I went to the same doctor and I got on diet. That's how I started with the diet pills. Then I started with using laxative. My grandparents, I wasn't allowed to buy food or anything, so I would have to have fruit salad. I'd have to bring from home every day, but I wouldn't eat it. I would dump it, and I know it was a waste of food, but I wouldn't eat it, because even that to me was gonna put on weight. That's how I kind of started up again with the eating disorder in Australia when I was not quite 17. I finished school, and that year was a really, really rough one. There was shit happening. So while my year before was the best year of my life in school, loved school. It was the first time in my life that I really loved school. I applied myself. I was doing well in all my studies. It was so wonderful. I used to love school and not love it at home. A lot of stuff that went on there that I'm not going to get into in this video. Look forward to going to school, and before that time in Hong Kong, I used to miss school constantly because I hated it so bad. Here I missed 3 days of school in the entire year, and that's because I got really sick with a bad flu. I really loved school, and it was really unusual for me because that's not something that I was used to in the least. The second year, and after I turned 18, because I was 17 at that time, turning 18. Once I turned 18, I could actually write my own notes, and so I would just take off. I would not go to school. I would spend the morning doing something away from school, and then I'd come to school and I'd just write a note, and I'd come up with all kinds of excuses, and I'd say, oh, this happened and that happened, and so they had me going to see a school counselor and just a bunch of crap. I mean, it was just crap, and throughout it all, the only thing that was consuming me and the only thing I could really control was what I could intake into my body, food. After I finished school, I went back to Hong Kong, and I was in Hong Kong for about 5 months. For almost 6 months, I was back in Hong Kong before we emigrated to Canada. I was looking forward to a new life starting in Canada, and I didn't take into account that I didn't know anyone there. A lot of stuff from my past was coming to light. And I lapsed into a major depression. And at the same time, I started modeling. One thing led to another. My eating disorder kind of came up really bad, to the point where I was actually hospitalized and force-fed with my eating disorder. I was in therapy for it, and I thought I was doing well. What I had learned in therapy was that, from a biological standpoint, is that when you don't eat, your body goes into starvation mode, and it hoards whatever calories it can. And this is physiological. It hoards whatever calories it can because it doesn't know when it's going to get food again. When I did eat, I binged, because I did a lot of binging at that point. I mean, I do a lot of binging and purging, not so much starving myself and restricting myself, but more the binging and the purging. And I loved how Courtney said, because it's absolutely true, it's like you become a different person. It's like you have no control when you're binging. You just eat and eat. It's like you're hoarding food in your body. You make yourself physically sick to the point where you are almost purging. And I used to love purging, because to me, I'd get so high when I purged. If you don't know what purging is, that's to physically get rid of what you've intaken. I think intaken. No, taken in. I don't know. You would either make yourself physically sick, or you would use laxatives. I used both. For me, I'd get high more when I would make myself physically sick. It would actually make me high. Like, I literally felt like, oh, fantastic. What was happening as well as what foods I was intaking during binges was that the calories were being held. I was holding onto the calories. So I ended up putting on a lot of weight. So basically what it ended up coming down to was I put on a lot of weight. So people thought, oh, she's healthy. She's, now she's gone the opposite direction. She's obviously over this eating disorder. And I hate that, because you know what? I'm 40 years old now. And I still struggle on a daily basis with my mind. I still fight myself. I still have a hard time eating. If my husband doesn't say to me, are you gonna make dinner, babe? I wouldn't eat, because usually I cook 1 meal a day. Well, I'll eat 1 meal a day. I'll feed him 1 meal a day, or he'll have to fend for himself, because I don't think about food. It's not that I don't think about food. That's wrong, because I constantly think about food. I constantly do, but I don't eat. And it's easier for me to not eat than it is to sit there and eat. And when I do eat, I overcompensate by stuffing myself. Like, I'll take a big plate of food and I'll eat it. And it might be healthy, and it might be healthy food. Being vegan and everything now, I'm not eating a lot of the crap. that I used to eat before. Like, I don't eat meat, don't eat dairy, so no cheese and stuff like that. I'll make a bowl of, say, pasta salad, and then I'll have like a huge big bowl of pasta salad, and it's got all healthy stuff in it, but I'll eat until like I'm feeling physically sick. It's almost like, to me, it's like overcompensating to say, hey, you know what, no, I'm fine, but what nobody knows is that inside of me, I'm thinking, I'm hiding the fact that there's something wrong, or that I'm thinking, okay, I need to get this in, because then everyone, it's like, it's this life of deception. And like I say, I'm 40 years old now. I'm diagnosed diabetic. I'm insulin, got type 2 diabetes on insulin. I haven't been able to have kids for 2 years previously. I didn't have a period for 2 years. I've lost 10 babies. I've had 10 miscarriages, and a terrible time of getting pregnant. Is it all relevant? I don't know. I desperately want to have children. Like I said, I'm 40 years old. I feel like time is running out for me. I've been in therapy for this. I've not been in therapy for this in like 20 years. And I haven't been in therapy itself in over 10 years. So I kind of I deal with a lot of stuff on my own. It's, you know, it's how I deal with stuff. For me, it's like a lot of people, like my husband, if he's anxious or he's upset, he'll eat stuff. He'll eat. It's like, I don't know if it's like overeating, like people cope in different ways. For me, I can't eat. If I'm upset, if I'm stressed, that's the furthest thing from my mind. So I still feel like, even though it's not all about the power and control issue, I think it's just become habit. And I have no idea what it's like to live and just be healthy and eat 3 meals a day, including snacks, and to get to that point saying, oh yeah, it's lunchtime, let's have lunch. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how to just be like a normal person. I don't know. I have no idea. One thing, when you have an issue like this, it can often lead to other issues like cutting and stuff. And yeah, I've done that. The suicide attempts and the suicide thoughts. That's another thing. It's like, I don't know what it's like to live without having a suicidal thought. And this is really hard for me to say, because this is like a major confession that I don't talk to people about. I don't talk to people about this. This is stuff that I don't know what it's like to live and be normal and healthy. And it's something that I crave. It's something I'm desperate for. It's something that, you know, I would give anything to not be in a stress-filled situation, and the first thing on my mind is, oh my God, when it's just better if, for everyone involved, for everyone around me, if I'm just not around. I'm hungry, and it's like, the first thought is not, oh my gosh, I should get something to eat. My first thought is, man, this feels freaking great. I feel great this way. I can control this. I'm good. I've always had an idealistic, unhealthy goal weight in mind is 80 pounds, 75, 80 pounds. I know that's ridiculous. I know it is. I know it is. I can't even look at women who have an eating disorder and who are deathly skinny and think, my gosh, they need to get some food into them. To me, I think, oh wow, they look gorgeous. They look beautiful. A lot of times you've seen me when I've worn the hijab, and I'm often touching myself here. Why? Because of my double chin. And I hate it. I hate my double chin. Now that I'm not wearing it anymore, I feel so vulnerable. I feel naked in front of you. Bearing my soul right now is making me even more vulnerable and feeling like I'm naked in front of you. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm 40 years old. If you're going through this, you're not alone. It is a constant struggle. It's almost like an addiction. You have to deal with it on a daily basis. You have to work with it. You have to work with what you've got. If you've got the therapy and you're learning the coping skills, use them, because you're not alone. And there's women who are even older than I am who are still battling with it. It's something that we deal with. It's something that we battle. I have no idea what size I I bought a pair of jeans at the thrift store yesterday, and I was so excited. I've never been able to walk into a thrift store and pick up a pair of jeans and buy them, because I've lost so much weight. I've lost 57 pounds, which I'm so proud of myself for. I've still got a lot of weight to lose to get to a healthy ideal weight, goal weight. It's not the unhealthy ideal, which I know I'm never going to attain towards, because I know it's not healthy. It's just that in my mind, that thought. And I know that if I were to ever make it to 70, 80 pounds, I would still feel fat. I would still not be able to reconcile. And when do you stop? When do you get to that point where you can stop? When? So right now I have a goal in mind of 125 pounds. That's what I'm working towards. I've lost 57 pounds to date. I've lost about 2 pant sizes, dress sizes. I don't know, because I don't wear dresses, but about 2 pant sizes. I bought these jeans and I felt fantastic. We took video of it, and I felt skinnier than what I look. At least my husband says I look fantastic in it. I look great. I saw myself on the video and I couldn't handle it. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't handle it. I put that fucking video up on YouTube and I'm so embarrassed, because I think that it's disgusting and I look disgusting. But I flip the side and I say to myself, you know what? Other people are seeing me from a healthy point of view. So if they think I look fantastic, and the woman in the store who was just randomly shopping saying to me that I look great in those jeans, thought I looked great in those jeans, then you know what? I must look freaking great. And so I've got to take that and I've got to hold on to it, and I've got to move forward with it. This isn't a sob story. Like, I don't want this to turn into a sob story. It's really difficult for me to talk about because it's so deeply personal. I live with this. This is my life. This is what this is who I am. It's my makeup. Yeah, there's always room for improvement. In every life there's room for improvement. Courtney talks about how therapists have therapists. Everybody needs to have somebody. And for holy, you know, I mean, I've always been there for other people. That's just who I am and how I am, and it's easier for me to deal with other people and their issues because I can see the issues, I can see the solution. It's not so easy for yourself. That's just life. You deal with what you know, you live how you know, and you deal with it. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. You just kind of hope that you're doing a good job. I don't know if I am. I don't know if I'm going to make this video private and just send it to Courtney and to you, Courtney, and sort of not let anyone else see it, but will that be a disservice to anyone else who's going through a situation? Maybe other people who are around my age, because, you know, I know, Courtney, you're a lot younger than I am. I believe you're in your 20s, so, you know, you're a lot younger than I am, and you're helping girls, guys, because guys have this too, in your age group, maybe younger, maybe a little bit older. But here I'm 40. You know, it's not many people talk about it at my age. A lot of people just sort of, either you're living with it, or you ignore it, or you're fine. It's like addiction. It's a daily, constant struggle. So, I talked too long, and my camera decided that I needed to shut up and be done with it. And it shut off on me. Gotta love these cameras. Little piece of shit. No, I'm sorry. I really love you. Please, be nice, and I'll be nice to you. Don't shut off on me. This is me and my little baby. This is my baby. I got 3 of them, but this is my baby. This is Esme. And I just wanted to share her with you because I know that you're a crazy cat woman just like I am. She's so cute. She's giving me kisses. Love you, Courtney. Love you guys. If you got to this point in the video, thanks so much for watching the whole thing. I know it was long and tedious. I'm just so weird. Promise that tomorrow's video will be a lot less dramatic because this drama... excuse me. This drama sucks. I'll see you on the flip side. comment below, like this video, leave a video response, and leave me your story. And let's be there for one another. Be good, stay clean, or not. Go roll in the mud. That'll be fun. Oh, let's go roll in the mud. I'm a wacko! Does eating disorders make, like, people wacko? See ya. Bye.
Now, don't you forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it all with your friends. Till next time, hanging with the Hurs.